And moving on to Mali, where counter-terrorism operations have led to the killing of 40 terrorists. Mali's army has said that it has killed about 40 terrorists and has destroyed one of their bases in 2 operations conducted last week in the West African country. The army said it had conducted an operation on Thursday where it destroyed an enemy base with around 30 terrorists and also seized weapons, ammunition, as well as 24 motorbikes. Subsequently, on Friday, a second operation saw 10 terrorists being killed and goods, including pickup trucks and motorbikes, being seized. Now, media reports suggest that the operations that were conducted on Thursday and Friday were carried out in the Nampala region, which is north of the capital city of Bamako and close to the border with Mauritania. The operations came just days ahead of the head of military junta, Colonel Assimi Goïta, who had seized power in Mali through a coup in 2020, promoted himself to the rank of army general. Now, the security situation in Mali has been worsening for over a decade now. The country has been ravaged by Al-Qaeda and Islamic State factions since 2012. Al-Qaeda-affiliated JNIM and the Islamic State Sahel Province, or the ISSP, are some of the prominent terrorist organizations operating and fighting against the government. Mali has also been dealing with the separatist insurgency in the north. The Malian armed forces have repeatedly clashed with a coalition of armed groups called the Coordination of Azawad Movements, which is an alliance of mostly ethnic Tuareg rebel groups that are seeking independence for the northern desert region in Mali. So when Mali's military leaders seized power in a double coup in 2020 and 2021, they vowed to end the security crisis in the country. They ousted the civilian leaders, accusing them of failing to clamp down on the terrorists and armed rebel groups. They also accused the civilian leaders of colluding with their former colonial power, France, to exploit the country and its resources. Mali's junta shut the doors on its former colonial power, France. In August this year, French troops fully withdrew from Mali, ending their 9-year deployment. But the junta still needed assistance to tackle the security challenges, so it turned to Russia. Russia's paramilitary Wagner forces have been fighting along the Malian army against Al-Qaeda-linked groups and armed rebels. But 3 years on, little seems to have changed for the people of Mali. Critics and activists say the junta has failed to fulfill its promises and has not been able to bring the situation under control. Despite taking help from foreign partners like Russia, the military has been struggling to contain separatists and powerful offshoots of Islamic State and Al-Qaeda. Now, criticism against the junta has been increasing. In July, dozens of Wagner mercenaries, including Russian war veterans who survived tours in Ukraine, were killed after a lethal battle with the Tuareg rebels. The defeat not just raised doubts over the junta's abilities, but also those of Moscow's mercenary forces. Experts say further losses could eventually drive Russian proxy forces out. Security crisis in Mali, along with an economic one, have also led to a wider humanitarian catastrophe. Hundreds of thousands have been internally displaced. Around 1.6 million people require assistance. Can Mali witness a return to stability under the junta? Or will the military accept its failure in handling the security crisis? While that remains to be seen, we will continue to track all of the developments from the region here on Firstpost.
Firstpost decodes the U.S. election, explains how America chooses its president, your primer on the race to the White House, everything you need to know about how America votes, and its global implications. U.S. Election Explained, every Monday and Thursday only on Firstpost.